Thanks, Sebastian. Yeah, love seeing so many of y'all, familiar names. Um, Welcome to today. Thank you for sharing your time and this space with us. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. The University of Washington acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and all bands within the Duwamish, Puyallup, Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. So, as Sebastian said, I am the director for Employee Social Impact Programs. Part of that job is working with the UW Combined Fund Drive, which is amazing. And in that role, I get to work with some exceptional nonprofits, both on and off campus. And so today we're partnering with some of those nonprofits and our fabulous partners at the Whole U to have a session called Active Aging Engagement and Resources. As I was saying earlier, when we were in our little pre-meeting chat, um, we all are aging, right? So whether we're looking at resources for ourselves, for our parents, for an aunt, for an uncle, for a loved one, this is just useful information to have. We have some great resources available in our community, and I'm really excited to share some of these resources and highlight them for you. So first up, we have folks from Solid Grounds, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. This one is really near and dear to my heart. My grandma was part of the RSVP Corps for many, many years in Montana, not out here. And so it comes from such a space of fondness for me. And so I'm very excited to introduce Anne and Jennifer. They will share information about the program with you. And as Sebastian said, you are welcome to put questions in the chat and we'll have time for Q&A at the end as well. So welcome Anne and Jennifer.
Thank you, Jolyn. I'm going to go ahead and share our slides. All right, can everyone see that? Okay, perfect. All right, I will kick it off to Jennifer, who will start.
All right, thank you. I'm Jennifer Gahagan. I'm the Volunteer Services Manager at Solid Ground. And we are one of King County's community action agencies. So at Solid Ground, we work to end poverty and undo racism and other oppressions that are the root causes of poverty. We do this by meeting basic needs, nurturing success, and spreading change. We have over 20 programs that provide services such as housing, transportation, food access, and nutrition education, and legal help with benefits. And today we are here to share a couple of our programs that may support you in getting ready for retirement and beyond. And that is RSVP, the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, and Sheba. And I'm going to kick it off with just telling you a little bit about our Sheba program. So Sheba stands for the Statewide Health Insurance Benefits Advisors. They are volunteers that provide free, unbiased, and confidential help in understanding your Medicare rights and options. So they help you choose the best plan to meet your needs. Sheba volunteers can screen you for programs that can help reduce Medicare costs, such as Medicare savings programs that may help with Part A and Part B premiums, and Extra Help. Another program can help lower Part D prescription drug costs. If you have Medicare Part B, many preventative services such as annual wellness visits, cancer screenings, and vaccines are available at no cost. We offer Welcome to Medicare presentations throughout the year, and open enrollment presentations October through November. So this is a great opportunity to just get a lot of information about Medicare, and it's pretty complicated. So I do recommend attending one of our presentations. And on the screen is a link that we can also paste in the chat that where you can see what our upcoming presentations are and sign up. You can also contact us to schedule an individual phone or email consultation with a Sheba or Medicare counselor volunteer. You just leave a voicemail message when you call, or you can email us, and then we'll call you back within Sheba counselor volunteer will call you back within 3 to 5 business days. Next slide. So if you prefer in-person consultations, you can make an appointment at one of our 13 partner sites, and that's also located on our website. So you call the site that you would like to go to and make an appointment. If you're interested in volunteering as a Sheba volunteer, we are adding potential applicants to our wait lists once they've reviewed the expectations of the program, and we are prioritizing onboarding for bilingual Spanish speakers. And there's also information on the slide for contacting our program lead. And I will pass it on to Anne to tell you about RSVP.
All right, thank you, Jen. I'm Anne Polaire, the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program Coordinator. Excuse me. So the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, or RSVP, is a national service program of AmeriCorps seniors. We connect people 55 and older to volunteer opportunities throughout King County at one of our 30 plus site partners. So if you're 55 and older and want to make a difference in your community, RSVP, which is run locally by Solid Ground, is a great starting point. So when you join RSVP, you join a local and national network of volunteers who collectively give thousands of hours of time, wisdom, support to the most urgent needs in our community. We do have some RSVP priority areas, so you can help support the success of young people in schools by being a tutor or mentor. You can help promote the independence of elders through our home helper and adult day support. And then you can also help solve hunger and promote healthy eating in low-income families and adults by supporting nutrition and education classes. So volunteers who register with RSVP also receive supplemental accident, personal liability, and auto liability insurance free of charge. We have a newsletter that we put out up to 3 times a year. We're working on our summer one now, which we hope to have in home by mid-July. And that helps keep volunteers up to date on what's happening in their community and things that matter in our community. And then this next slide is talking about some positive impacts on volunteers. So by volunteering, it increases a sense of purpose and connection to your community. Studies show that volunteers live longer. For older adults, it helps combat loneliness and rebuilds connection, which is essential to health and well-being. By providing support to others, may be more beneficial for our own health than receiving support ourselves. And studies suggest that the best health outcomes arise from a good balance of receiving and providing support. And a stronger social connection improves health risk, sleep, well-being, and a quality of life. And not only do members or volunteers, reap physical and mental emotional health benefits themselves, but they pass down that strong commitment to lifetime service through volunteerism. So for next steps, we have our RSVP application, and to register, you can go on to the Solid Ground website to RSVP-registration-form. And then you can also contact me, and I'm more than happy to talk to you and walk you through the process. You can call me at this number, or you can email me at rsvp@solid-ground.org, and then I can help guide you through next steps. All right, I will pass this back to Jolene.
Thank you so much, Anne. Please feel free to drop that connection, that link in the chat so everyone has easy access to it. As I said, my grandma was an RSVP volunteer, and she volunteered at the senior center serving lunch to the old people. My grandma was 90, so like there's a really there's a really important social component to volunteering that can't be underestimated, no matter what your age. And so I just really applaud programs that work to encourage people to get back out into the community. And speaking of community, next up we have Kat from Solid Ground. Big fan of their work as well. If you like cool senior centers and supporting culturally relevant opportunities for seniors in your community, then let's learn more about what Solid Ground has to offer. Take it away, Kat.
Thanks. Small correction, Sound Generations. We just heard from Solid Ground.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is
All
you're both
good.
SG, and I only had one cup of coffee today because I'm trying to cut down, which is poor planning on my part.
Yeah, no, that's so fine. We're all good. All right, let me just share my screen here. Um, all right, so we are Sound Generations, as Jolynn said, and we rebranded about 20 years ago. We used to be Senior Services, so it was in the title of what we did, and we've been around for almost 60 years serving seniors in King County. So this is our mission, what we believe. I'm not going to read it. I will just note that we have 13 different programs and 2 affiliated senior centers that support our mission. Core values, I will just note that it is easy to write core values on a piece of paper. It's much harder to live them every day. And I will say that in the time that I have been with Sound Generations and done a Meals on Wheels ride along and seen what the GRAT behavioral health clinicians do and the community dining sites, this is real. This is lived every day by the staff and the volunteers at Sound Generations. So we serve all of King County, again, through multiple programs. A couple are on this legend are highlighted, our community dining sites, Meals on Wheels sites, and this overlay shows communities of color that we serve and folks below 200% of the federal poverty level. So our 4 pillars of programs, food security, health and wellness, transportation, and assisted services. It's a lot. We do a lot. It's hard sometimes even for me to keep up with all the modifications and changes in programs. So most folks know Meals on Wheels. When I'm out in the community, when I do resource fairs, people may not have heard of Sound Generations, but as soon as I say Meals on Wheels, they immediately know. And a lot of organizations that provide this service nationwide actually go by Meals on Wheels and more because there is such name recognition. But it is truly transformative, much more than just a meal. In some cases, the seniors that we serve, it's the only human contact they've had, for an entire week. So it's really crucial. The need, not surprisingly, shot up during COVID, and you can see here year over year from 24 to 25, the increase, and we served over 530,000 meals last year. Yeah. Our community dining site's also very popular. Jolynn, I think this is probably where your grandmother was volunteering at a similar community dining sites at a senior center where lunch is served on a regular basis. We have 27 of these sites all over King County. The meals are prepared there on site with a dietitian and a chef, and they're culturally responsive. We operate the East African Senior Center at 3 different locations. And I'm happy to say I've had lunch there, and it is absolutely amazing as Ethiopian cuisine. Yeah, so we served 163,000 meals last year to folks all over King County. So the next pillar is transportation. So we operate a fleet of the Hyde shuttles that drive all over King County. They do have a specific zone. So like if you live in Shoreline and you call a Hyde shuttle to schedule it, it could take you within certain boundaries. The wonderful part is that we have the complimentary volunteer transportation service. So if you are a senior living, say, in a shag housing unit, in Kirkland and you need to come over to Seattle for a doctor's appointment, you can do that through the volunteer transportation services. Hyde won't cover it because the Hyde shuttle drives within a certain region. But we have several hundred onboarded volunteer drivers. And you can see here they did 7,000 trips last year. The Hyde shuttle, that's a pretty impressive number, 56,000. And the reason it's slightly less than it was the year prior is because our volunteer transportation is increasing. So they sort of toggle between the two. Yeah, it's been wonderful to see that happen. Health and wellness, the next pillar. So I don't know if any of you have heard of Enhanced Fitness. It's a national program, and the uh, trainers, the teachers are certified by us. So we manage all the contracts with the individual sites that run the health and wellness program under Enhanced Fitness. And there's two different types. There's the enhanced fitness classes, which you can see these folks are participating in. And then we have a fall prevention. We're part of the King County Fall Prevention Coalition. And they have a presentation, which I've given out in the community a couple times. And they also do a falls risk assessment. So we are one of the designated coalition members for that coalition in King County. And there is a course that goes with it for fall prevention. Assistance services is an inbound call line that does lots and lots of things through our pathways. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of these. So we have a caregiver support program for unpaid caregivers. And if you do the intake and sign up and you are a caregiver in whatever capacity, it doesn't mean you have to be a full-time caregiver. Whatever capacity you are functioning as an unpaid caregiver, you have access to 6 counseling sessions that are tailored to caregivers, emergency and regular respite visits, or housework if you choose not to use the respite visit, and connection to support groups and other referrals. We have a team of 4 social workers on our caregiver support team. Senior Rights Assistance. This is a terrific program. We have a partnership with the King County Bar Association for a legal clinic on site every Friday. So folks call in, they have questions regarding estate planning, POAs, power of attorneys, probates, guardians, wills, all the things that fall under here. If it is determined that we can provide the support that they need, that it's within our capacity, then they come into the clinic and we prepare the estate plan, guardianship, will, whatever it is. And I will mention that right now we are taking applications for basic wills from June. They're done in like 6-month increments. So on our website, folks can apply for a spot to get a free will made with an attorney. And if we end up with more folks applying than we have spots, there will be a lottery. But if it's the other way around, everyone gets a will. You get a will, I get a will, we all get a free attorney will. The Geriatric Regional Assessment Team. This is something I feel pride when I talk about it, even though I'm not directly involved, only because it's a unique program to King County, and it operates this critical intersection of aging services and behavioral health. This is a team, again, of 4 clinicians. They're called the GRAT. We refer to them lovingly as GRAT. They are sent out to do home assessments of folks that are referred to us either through Adult Protective Services, a concerned family member, could even be a community member, regarding any area that is of major concern or a red flag, potential, isolation, elder abuse, substance misuse, cognitive decline. And they go out, they establish a relationship first, and then they go out and they do a very detailed assessment, and then they connect that person, that client, to services. And I will say that this is an important program in going upstream because it prevents the overuse of emergency services and hospitalization. If we can connect folks to the right resources, then it's not an immediate, call 911 situation. I heard a statistic not long ago that really stuck with me. This was in regards to our Meals on Wheels program, but 1 year of meals for an older adult cost the same as much, it cost the same as one night in the ER. So an entire year of meals one night. So yeah, that's another compelling reason, right, to stave off crises. And then our Elder Education Institute, I thought this might be an audience that would be interested in this. We have a program manager who runs these professional level CEU granting workshops and courses for licensed clinicians and other professionals. Um, and here are some examples of some of the classes. And we have these certifications from I believe the WMHCA is the Washington Mental Health Counselors Association. So you can see that on our website. Some of the courses are 1 day, some of them are multiple days. Yeah, and the last thing to note is that we are also a senior housing provider. So our office in Belltown is on the second floor of this lovely building. Up here is the roof, which is gorgeous, and I love to go up there during lunch when it's a beautiful day. But in between our administrative offices and this deck top, there are 25 low-income housing units available. And so it's really wonderful to be able to interact with tenants there on a regular basis. I'm hoping to get some of them to come to Olympia with us next February when we go for Senior Advocacy Day. And I'll mention right now we have 3 vacancies. So just putting that out there. Just super quickly, this is just a little bit about who we work with and how we work. The bottom 2 orange circles are the 2 senior centers that are under our governance. It used to be 5, but they're going off on their own and doing their own thing. So we run the East African Senior Center and the Lake City Senior Center. We have partnerships at each one of our sites and other senior centers with CMAR and neighborhood health care, and a number of other partners. And then over here is a bit about how we work in the advocacy space, because my job is both community engagement and advocacy. So these are some of the coalitions that we're a part of. And one that may jump out to you and you might be scratching your head about is why balance our tax code, right? Like that does not seem to be related to senior services. However, it is directly related to anyone who's in the human services sector, because as we know, the big betrayal bill in combination with a huge budget deficit at the state level has meant that a lot of human services organizations are really suffering financially. So we advocate for progressive revenue to try to turn our upside down tax code right side up. And we advocated along with the Balance Our Tax Code Coalition this year for the passage of the millionaire's tax. And even though it has to survive, a legal and ballot challenge, we're very hopeful that in several years, some of our programs, along with all the entire human services sector across the state, will start getting the funding they really deserve. And just a couple of examples of how we advocate at every level. A couple of years ago, I wasn't at Sound Generations, but I was part of the coalition that worked to pass rent stabilization. So that's a big one. And actually, I just got back from DC. I was there with the National Meals on Wheels group advocating for the reauthorization of the Older Americans Act and asking for a chunk of money, a big chunk of money. And sadly, only about half of it has gone through appropriation. So, and that's the end of my spiel.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Kat. I would love it if you could drop a link to your programs in the chat so folks have easy access to them. Also, want to encourage you all, if you have a chance to visit your neighborhood senior center, to do it. I live in Ballard. Our senior center has a regular garage sale, and I love going because A, they always have like amazing treasures, and I am a trash panda at heart, and so it makes me happy to find new treasures for my house. And but the meals there are amazing. Like I don't know what I expected. The first time we were there because they always like sell pastries and lunch, but wow. Like, and I have a friend who is a member of the Ballard Senior Center, and so we go sometimes for lunch. And I have to tell you, it is very fancy. So definitely like not maybe the senior center that you're imagining. So please, I think you should check them out. Um, Very excited to welcome Natalie next from Osher Learning Institute. Um, I've such a great program, just because we are getting older doesn't mean we have to stop learning. And this is such a fantastic program that's available to folks to stay involved, to stay engaged, and to keep your mind active, which is so important as we age. So take it away, Natalie.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for having me. I love this presentation. I'm learning so much for myself, but I want to make sure that you all know about this wonderful resource. It's at the University of Washington. It's called the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of Washington. Sometimes it's called OLLI or Osher. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what it is, some of our free programs that we have to offer, a membership opportunity, and I just hope that you'll find something in here that you will join us. So what is OLLI or Osher? It is programs named after Bernard Osher, who's our benefactor. He gave us an endowment that the university invests, and then every year we use the interest to run our program along with some small fees that we collect. So we're based out of the University of Washington. Every state has an Osher program. And Washington State, our program is based out of the UW, but it's a statewide program. And we serve people over 50 who just want to learn for the joy of learning, who want to make new friends, no tests, grades, or paper. So that's kind of a bonus. As I mentioned, the Osher Foundation is our benefactor, and there are 125 different Osher programs. Washington State just has the one, but we love being a part of the Osher program nationally. We have 2 staff members who support this program. So we're pretty small. We're just kind of a self-supporting little budget within the UW, so we don't get state or federal fees or anything like that. And we are based out of Continuum College, and Continuum College offers summer programs. They offer youth and teen, UW in the high school, certificate programs. So we're one of those community forwarding programs. And our goal is to really focus on the people involved in the program. So we have 1,400 active members. And people let me know what they want to learn about, and then I try to find speakers to educate us. And they are all academic in focus. And then we also have peer groups. So there's just a lot of opportunities for people to engage with one another and learn. The program structure. So every month we have 4 lectures. They're in person and over Zoom. If we can record them, we try to record them and we send them out to people if that's a more convenient way to learn. People oftentimes are busy, they have appointments, or maybe they're caring for somebody and they can't leave. If you can come in person, we'd love that. We're in Seattle area at the UW campus, downtown Redmond, and up in Mukilteo. We also just started a program down in Tacoma in person, and next year we'll be on Mercer Island. We have 100 live in-person field trips, events, courses, and over Zoom courses as well. And we launch them on a quarterly basis. So right now we're in the midst of our spring quarter, and we'll just be releasing our summer programming. And in the summer, we tend to do a lot of field trips. So a one-time experience. We'll go to the Seattle Art Museum, and we'll have an art historian. We might go on a hike and learn from a geologist. We might have something over Zoom that is just something that people might not be able to otherwise access. In the summer, we also partner with the National Osher program, and we do something called Osher Online. So you can be in classes with people from Texas, Florida, California, Massachusetts. So it's a fun opportunity to network nationally as well. And then in the fall, in the winter, those are our big seasons for courses. So we do a lot of in-person courses. The courses are usually short courses, so they meet once a week for 2 hours. So for example, October Tuesdays from 9 to 12, and people will get together and they'll learn about geology or astronomy or whatever you might be interested in, history. And then we also do these in-person lectures, as I mentioned, and then study groups. So the study groups are all peer-led. Somebody says, I'd really like to start a book group, and so then we help them start a book group, and we find a place to meet, and then it's peer-led, and they start a book group. Or it could be a current events group, or I want to dive deeper into art history, whatever that means. So lots of, as I mentioned, ways to engage. What we're learning is stimulating your brain is good for your health and aging and being with other people. Whether that's over Zoom, we have a lot of community building over Zoom or in person. We offer a lot of free things I want to make sure to highlight and then also talk about our membership program. So on our website, which is, I'll put that later, but it's just www.osher.uw.edu. And it's a great website for our brain health lecture series. So we received a grant to develop a series of 12 lectures that are over video, and then they have all kinds of resources. So Alzheimer's, dementia, sleep, strokes. So any kind of brain health topic you might want to learn about, those topics are on our website. They're free and available to anyone. We also on a quarterly basis, open up our lecture series to anyone. So you can get on our mailing list and hear about what the latest lecture is and tune in for free. And then we also have a podcast on our website. And the podcast is a variety of things. It interviews members, it interviews speakers who you can listen to a talk and then hear their background. So those are all free and available to anyone. And then we also have a membership opportunity. You join for $50 in the year, and it includes all the lectures I was mentioning, all the discussion groups. And then we have the one-time event field trips, as I was mentioning, and courses. And those have additional fees. We try to keep those affordable. The fee is dependent on the length, and we offer honorariums to our speakers. So oftentimes our fees go directly to help us with those honorariums to our speakers. And we just hope that you'll find something in our program that is interesting and you'll join us for something. When you click on our website, as I mentioned, osher.uw.edu, I'm hoping you can kind of see that up there. You'll see our website, the UW, and along here you can see all of our tabs. I just wanted to show you this is what the website looks like. Over here is our free podcast. Our catalog is all of our offerings that you can see there. And then if you click on our catalog, what kind of things are we offering? It shows you by month, whether it's online, in person, what the dates and the times are. If we're recording it, because if you want to maybe do it, but you can't be there, then you can click on it and register and get that recording. So I wanted to make sure you saw some of the examples of what it looks like on our website. And this is our information. We just hope that, again, this might be of interest to you. I'm going to stop my share and again say thank you for having me, and I can answer questions when it's time.
Natalie, that was amazing. I did not know that we had adult field trips available at the UW, and I'm in. Like, I love field trips. I love going places, and I think that this is a really amazing program. We'll drop your link in the chat as well. For folks who are joining us, now is the time. If you have questions, you can take yourself off mute or raise your hand and ask. You can drop them in the chat. I want to say that I included a link to the UW Retirement Association in the chat. They were unable to join us today, but they have some really fantastic programs available to use specifically as UW employees if you retire from the UW. As UW retirees, there are some benefits we get that are pretty cool. And so I would encourage you to check them out and see what those benefits are. So I'm looking at, Natalie, I have a question for you. Do you go on these field trips?
I do. Yeah.
What is your favorite field trip been?
Oh gosh, there's too many. We just did one, the one that I'm sticking in my mind recently. We just did a tour of the cherry tree blossoms on the UW campus, and we had a tree arborist that was educating us on all of the behind the scenes things. And I had just come from a funeral, And they were talking about the impermanence of the cherry blossoms and how wonderful they are, and they're just, a moment in time, and kind of this existential, like he was so lovely, like he's so passionate about these trees, and then
Hmm.
he's like transitioning this in for all of us to understand and make it more personal. So lots of opportunities for field trips. Yeah.
That is really fantastic. So I have a question. What kinds of online volunteer opportunities are available through the Solid Ground RSVP program?
So we do have some, like for example, through Washington DECA, they have online judges. So that's typically in the fall. Outside of online, we do have some organizations that do phone buddies. So giving daily calls to a senior who's isolated. Um, and I would really need to know like what you're interested in to kind of, but those are like our two that stick out
Hmm.
where, a lot of people kind of are interested in it, especially if they can't drive and they want to be able to do something from their own home.
I love that. I will share with you one of my favorite online volunteer programs, which completely dates me, is reading cursive. A lot of museums, the Smithsonian in particular, are looking for people who can read cursive because a lot of kids today, like mine, don't really know how, like they learned how to write cursive, but because it's not a standard form of writing anymore, because it's not, there are a lot of historic documents that they need people to translate into something that non like, I did not ever think I would be saying non-cursive readers, but that non-cursive readers can read. Actually, if you look at the CFD website, I think we still have a list of some volunteer activities that can be done from home. They're not specific to RSVP, but they are a lot of fun. I know Doctors Without Borders has a really cool mapping project that they do. We partnered with them to do some of that work a couple of years ago, and it was really interesting. As somebody who is a landmark driver, so if you tell me to turn left at 14th Street, I have no idea where it is, but if you tell me to turn left at the Purple House, I know exactly where the Purple House is. So anyway, it helps with mapping in that context. All right. Do sound generation or any of the others do in-home assessments of the environment, of the home environment, refall risks, adding shower bars, recommending home modifications, things like that?
That is a fantastic question. And I'm going to split that up because the fall risk, like in-home fall risk, we do not do. I'm going to drop a link into the chat for a risk assessment survey that the King County Fall Coalition has, so you can do that yourself. But I'm going to split off the other, adding shower bars. That is something we do under our minor home repair
Okay.
program. So if you qualify and you can get someone from our construction team to come out and install those shower bars, and they also do all kinds of other repair. So let me drop those two different links, one to the fall assessment risk, and
Awesome.
then one to the minor home repair link into the chat in response to this. Good question.
I love that question. I am also
Yeah.
dropping the a link to the virtual volunteer opportunities into the chat as soon as I find it again, because I have too many tabs open. Just the story of my life.
Same. Here
And
it
I
is.
know it says COVID-19. That's just the heading. We changed it, but we put together that list during COVID-19 because we had a lot of folks reaching out and asking how they could volunteer, and it does have the Smithsonian Cursive Volunteer link.
This isn't virtual, but it is an at-home opportunity that we are actively recruiting for. If you're a knitter, we would love to enroll you in our Knitted Dolls program. And we donate the items to folks that need to stay warm for the winter.
I actually have to say I participate in that program. We have a UW Knitters and Crocheters Club. If you are a knitter or crocheter and you're not part of that, reach out to me offline, and I'm happy to connect you with the person who coordinates that. And every year the last several years, we've been able to donate, and it is so exciting. I have to tell you, I saw somebody wearing one of the hats I made, and like it made my heart almost explode. It was such a joyful moment. To see that. And so, yeah, that is a great volunteer opportunity that can be very singular. You can knit at home, or you can knit in a group. You can knit on Zoom. There's all kinds of great ways to connect. Yes, crochet too, Hillary. Crochet is welcome. We welcome all handicrafts. I work with patients at UW Medicine who are often here for several months at a time. For sound generation programs, do people have to be long-term residents to qualify for the Hyde Shuttle or other assistance programs?
No. Um, and I'm assuming you mean LT, like long-term care.
Mm,
Or like in a
yes.
home? No, no, you can be, no, in fact, our services are primarily geared towards aging in place. So folks primarily use our services who are in their own homes, but you can be in a senior housing unit, you can be in a long-term care, you can be in your own home. There are no stipulations, no requirements on where you're coming from and going to. And I'm sorry it's taking me a little bit to find these links that I promised a little bit ago,
That's
but
okay.
I'm finding them.
And do y'all mind sharing your slide decks with us so that we can send those out when we send out the recording? Excellent. So somebody had asked me that, and I wanted to ask before I forgot. Um, well, I think we're going to wrap up a little early unless anybody has any questions, other questions. All right. Well, if you all have questions that come up afterwards, please feel free to email me or to email Sebastian, and we'll happily pass them on to our speakers. And oh, yeah, like, thank you. Sorry. Anne, Kat, Natalie, and Jennifer, thank you so, so much for joining us today, for sharing your resources. I mean, we are all getting older, whether we want to or not, and it is so good to know that we have so many resources and opportunities to stay engaged, to stay active, and to live the next steps of our lives the way we want to, in a way that will make an impact and be a fantastic next act. So, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate your time and your presentation. And to all of you all, thank you so much for joining us. These are great programs. There are other great programs at the UW and in the community that are serving seniors. Check them out. Being a senior is not your parents' senior anymore. I mean, getting older is very different now than it was when I was young, and I, for one, am really excited about the changes. So, thank you everyone for spending your time with us today.
And thanks for pulling this together, organizing it. Thanks everyone for attending.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
you,
thanks
everybody.
everyone. Thanks, Jolyn, Sebastian.
Thanks,
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.